Listen closely. This message is not by accident. Heaven ordered this moment just for you. Right now, in this very season, something has shifted in the spiritual realm. The enemy that once tried to confuse you, delay you, weaken you, and silence you, is losing control over your life. Yes, you heard that right. The devil is losing his grip. The chains are breaking. The fog is lifting. The darkness is retreating. God says, I have seen your tears. I have heard your silent cries. I have counted every night you fought battles alone. You thought nobody noticed. You thought heaven was quiet. But silence was never absence. God was working behind the scenes. And now, the turning point has come. The devil is panicking. Why? Because you didn't quit. You didn't give up. You didn't surrender your faith. Even when your heart was tired. Even when your mind was overwhelmed. Even when your strength was almost gone. The enemy tried everything. He tried fear. He tried doubt. He tried delay. He tried distractions. He tried people turning against you. He tried to make you feel forgotten. But you're still here. Still breathing. Still believing. Still holding on. And now the devil realizes something terrifying. You are not breaking. You are becoming stronger. God says, enough is enough. Enough of the sleepless nights. Enough of the confusion. Enough of the anxiety. Enough of the cycles repeating. God says, I am stepping in personally. The battle you've been fighting was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you, to train you, to prepare you, to position you. What tried to stop you will now serve you. What hurt you will now heal you. What delayed you will now accelerate you. This is why everything felt so hard. The enemy attacks hardest when something powerful is about to be released. He doesn't fight empty lives. He fights destiny. You were targeted because you are chosen. You were pressured because you are dangerous to darkness. You were tested because heaven trusts you with more. The devil knew. If you ever discovered who you truly are in God, if you ever realized the authority inside you, if you ever understood the power of your prayers, it would be over for him. And guess what? You're waking up now. God says, I am restoring what you lost. The joy you lost. The peace you lost. The confidence you lost. The opportunities you lost. The years that felt wasted. God says, nothing was wasted. Every tear watered your future. Every delay built your character. Every battle made you wiser. What the enemy meant for harm, God is turning into favor, into promotion, into testimony, into breakthrough. Listen, this is a warning to the enemy. God says, remove your hands from my child. The enemy no longer has permission. The doors he used are closing. The access he once had is revoked. The authority he stole is being returned. You are stepping into divine protection, divine clarity, divine strength. From this moment forward, things will begin to change. Slowly at first. Then suddenly, you will notice it. The fear won't control you like before. The thoughts won't attack you like before. The past won't haunt you like before. The delays won't frustrate you like before. You will feel peace without explanation, confidence without reason, strength without effort. That's not coincidence. That's God taking over. Choose one. You can choose fear, or you can choose faith. You can choose to stay stuck, or you can choose to rise. You can choose doubt, or you can choose Jesus. Because when you choose Jesus, darkness loses access. Chains lose power. The devil loses control. Declare this with me now. Say it out loud. even if your voice shakes. I am covered. I am protected. I am chosen. I am not defeated. The devil has no control over my life. God is in charge. My best days are ahead. Yes, heaven heard that. Angels are moving. Breakthroughs are aligning. Do not be afraid of what you see. Trust what I said. I am with you. I will never leave you. This season ends in victory. Hold on just a little longer. Pray just a little stronger. Believe just a little deeper. Because the devil is losing control. And your new chapter has already begun. The devil is panicking right now. Yes, you heard that right. Hell is not calm. Darkness is not confident anymore. Why? Because you did not break. You were supposed to quit. You were supposed to walk away from faith. You were supposed to give up on prayer. You were supposed to settle for less. You were supposed to believe the lie that your life would never change. But you didn't. Even when you were tired. Even when you were disappointed. Even when nothing made sense. You kept going. You kept believing. You kept hoping. And now the enemy is nervous. Because he knows something you're just beginning to realize. You are still standing, and that terrifies him. The devil thought the pressure would crush you. He thought the silence would break you. He thought the waiting would exhaust you. He thought the betrayal would destroy your trust. But instead of destroying you, it built you. You learned how to pray when nobody else was there. You learned how to trust God without signs. You learned how to stand alone and still believe. That's when the enemy realized. He made a huge mistake. Because pressure doesn't destroy diamonds. It creates them. The devil is panicking because his old strategies are failing. The fear doesn't hit the same anymore. The lies don't sound convincing anymore. The traps don't work like they used to. You're not as easily shaken. You're not as easily discouraged. You're not as easily distracted. You've been through too much to be weak now. You survived things that were supposed to end you. And heaven watched the whole time. God says, "Look at you now. You are stronger than you think, wiser than before, and closer to me than ever." The devil sees the growth. He sees the maturity. He sees the authority forming inside you. That's why the attacks increased. That's why the pressure intensified. That's why things felt heavier right before the breakthrough. Because the enemy always attacks hardest. Right before he loses access. The devil is panicking because your prayers are changing. They're no longer desperate. They're confident. They're no longer fearful. They're bold. You're no longer begging. You're declaring. And when you start declaring instead of doubting, hell starts backing up. The enemy is panicking because he knows your season of confusion is ending. Your season of delay is closing. Your season of pain is expiring. What he tried to use to keep you stuck is now pushing you forward. What he meant to use as a prison is becoming a platform. What he meant to silence you is turning into your testimony. The devil is panicking because you're about to see clearly. You're about to recognize the traps. You're about to discern the lies. You're about to walk away from things that drained you. And once you see clearly, you can never be controlled the same way again. God says, "The enemy has reached his limit. He can go no further. What I have started in you, I will finish." This is why peace is slowly returning. This is why strength is rising again. This is why hope is waking up inside you. It's not imagination. It's not coincidence. It's the devil losing control. So don't be afraid of the shaking. Don't panic because things feel intense. Don't quit when it feels heavy. Because the shaking is proof that what can be shaken is leaving. And what is from God is remaining. Yes, the devil is panicking. But heaven is celebrating, because your breakthrough is closer than ever. God says, enough is enough. Enough of you carrying what was never meant to crush you. Enough of you fighting battles alone. Enough of you blaming yourself for things that were not your fault. Enough of the enemy replaying your past in your mind. Enough of cycles repeating over and over again. God says, I have watched long enough. Now I am stepping in. For a long time, you've been strong for everyone else. You smiled when you were breaking. You encouraged others while feeling empty inside. You kept going even when you had no answers. And God says, I saw all of it. Not one moment was invisible to me. Every tear you wiped away quietly. Every prayer you whispered when you were exhausted. Every time you chose faith instead of bitterness. Heaven recorded it all. God says, the battle has shifted hands. What you couldn't fix with effort. What you couldn't change with patience. What you couldn't overcome with strength. God says, I will handle it. This is not your fight anymore. This is not your burden anymore. This is not your responsibility anymore. The weight you've been carrying is being lifted right now. You've been trying to understand everything, trying to control outcomes, trying to prevent disappointment. But God says, trust me with what you don't understand, because some doors didn't open. For your protection, some prayers were delayed. For perfect timing, some endings happened. To save you from greater pain, God says, stop questioning your worth. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not failing. You are in process. What feels like waiting is actually preparation. What feels like silence is actually strategy. What feels like loss is actually redirection. God says, I am about to do what you could never do on your own. Sudden clarity, unexpected favor, divine connections, peace that makes no sense. Things will start lining up. People will show up at the right time. Opportunities will open without struggle. Not because you forced it, but because God ordained it. This is where the cycle breaks. This is where the struggle ends. This is where the heaviness lifts. God says, from this point on, you will not walk alone. Even when you don't feel Him. Even when you don't see results immediately. Even when the road looks unfamiliar. God says, I am ahead of you. I am beside you. I am behind you. So release the guilt. Release the fear. Release the pressure to have everything figured out. God says, rest in my promises. Because when God says enough, no enemy can argue. No delay can continue. No weapon can prosper. Say this with faith. I release what I cannot control. I trust God completely. My struggle ends here. God is taking over my life. Yes, heaven is moving. The burden is lifting. And a new season has begun. You kept wondering, why me? Why does it feel like nothing comes easy? Why do I try so hard and still face resistance? God says, this is why everything felt so hard. The enemy does not waste energy on empty lives. He does not fight people with no purpose. He does not attack what has no future. The intensity of the battle reveals the importance of your destiny. You were not targeted because you are weak. You were targeted because you are dangerous to darkness. You carry something inside you that hell is afraid of. A calling, a voice, an anointing, a future that impacts others. And before you ever stepped into it, the enemy tried to stop you early. This is why the pressure came so soon. Before you were ready. Before you understood your authority. Before you recognized your strength. The devil wanted to discourage you. Before you discovered who you really are. God says, I allowed the pressure, but I never allowed destruction. You were bent, but not broken. Shaken, but not destroyed. Wounded, but not defeated. Because God was limiting the enemy the whole time. Every hard season trained you. Every delay matured you. Every loss taught you discernment. Every tear increased your compassion. What felt like suffering was actually school. God was teaching you how to survive storms, how to stand when others fall, how to hear His voice in chaos. You didn't realize it then, but now you can see it. You're stronger, more aware, more discerning, less naive. Things that once hurt you deeply no longer control you. That's growth. That's elevation. The devil didn't know that the fire would purify you. He didn't know that the pressure would sharpen you. He thought he was breaking you, but God was building you. God says, what you survived qualifies you. You can now reach people you never could before. You understand pain at a deeper level. You speak with authority now. Your testimony carries weight because you lived it. This is why everything felt so hard. Because easy seasons don't produce warriors. Comfort doesn't create leaders. Convenience doesn't build faith. God says, you are ready now. Ready for clarity. Ready for stability. Ready for restoration. Ready for increase. The season that tested you is ending. The season that rewards you is beginning. Say this with confidence. I understand now. My pain had purpose. My struggles made me stronger. I am ready for what God has next. God says, I am restoring what you lost. Not just a little, not halfway, not barely enough to survive, but full restoration. You lost things you never thought you'd lose. Peace you once had. Joy that felt natural, confidence that came easily, dreams you were excited about. Some things were taken suddenly, some things faded slowly, some things were stolen through betrayal, some things were lost through seasons you didn't understand, and you blamed yourself. You replayed it over and over. You wondered what you did wrong. But God says, it was not your failure. It was your transition. You didn't lose time. You gained wisdom. You didn't lose years. You gained depth. You didn't lose strength. You learned endurance. God says, nothing was wasted. Every delay served a purpose. Every closed door redirected you. Every heartbreak refined you. You thought the damage was permanent. You thought the season ruined you. You thought things could never feel the same again. But God says, I specialize in what looks irreversible. What feels broken beyond repair is exactly where God loves to work. God says, I am restoring your joy first. Not the fake smile joy. Not the forced happiness. But deep joy. Quiet joy. Joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. You will laugh again. You will breathe freely again. You will wake up without heaviness again. God says, I am restoring your peace. The overthinking will slow down. The anxiety will lose its grip. The fear will stop controlling your decisions. You will feel calm even when life is uncertain, because peace is returning to your spirit. God says, I am restoring your confidence. The voice that doubted yourself will grow quieter. The voice that reminds you who you are will grow stronger. You will stop shrinking yourself. You will stop apologizing for existing. You will walk with quiet authority again. God says, I am restoring opportunities. What you thought you missed will come back in a new form. Better timing, better alignment, better people. The next opportunity won't require struggle. It will recognize you. You lost relationships. Some walked away. Some changed. Some revealed their true intentions. God says, I removed what could not go where I'm taking you. And now, new connections are forming. Healthy relationships are aligning. People who see your value are entering your life. God says, I am restoring your hope. You will dream again. You will plan again. You will believe again. The future won't scare you anymore. It will excite you. This restoration will not look like your past. It will be better, more stable, more peaceful, more intentional, more aligned with who you are now, because you're not the same person anymore. God says, what I return to you will come with maturity, with discernment, with gratitude. You won't lose it again, because you've grown. Say this with faith and expectation. I receive restoration. Nothing is lost. God is rebuilding my life. My best is still ahead of me. Yes, restoration is happening. Joy is returning. Peace is settling in. God is not done with you. He is just getting started. Heaven is not silent. Heaven is not delayed. Heaven is moving right now. What you survived was not meant to break you. It was meant to position you. What tried to stop you has already lost its power. God says, look at you. You are still here, still breathing, still believing, still standing. That alone is proof that the enemy failed. You were attacked, but not defeated. You were shaken, but not destroyed. You were tested, but not rejected. From this moment forward, you are not walking in fear anymore. You are walking in authority. Fear no longer decides your future. Your past no longer defines you. Your mistakes no longer disqualify you. God says, I have erased the accusation. I have sealed your identity. I have restored your strength. The devil is losing control completely. The doors he used are closing. The cycles he repeated are breaking. The lies he whispered are losing volume. What once triggered you will no longer control you. What once trapped you will no longer hold you. Get ready, because signs will follow this shift. Peace will show up without explanation. Clarity will replace confusion. Strength will rise in places that felt empty. You won't recognize yourself in the best way possible. God says, do not be afraid of the new you. You are more confident now, more discerning now, more rooted now. You're not colder. You're wiser. You're not distant. You're protected. You're not changing for the worse. You're evolving for purpose. This next season will require courage. But God says, I am with you every step. When you don't know what to do, I will guide you. When you feel weak, I will strengthen you. When you feel alone, I will remind you who walks beside you. Now make this final declaration. Say it with authority. Say it like you believe it. I choose faith over fear. I choose purpose over pain. I choose Jesus over everything. My life is in God's hands. The devil has no control over me. Yes, heaven heard you. Hell felt it. God's final word over your life. What I started, I will finish. What I promised, I will perform. What I spoke will come to pass. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with peace. Walk forward with faith. Because this chapter ends in victory, and the next one begins in power. Amen.